Hello, my name is Zara Nash and I am the Novus Programme Manager and I work for the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. I'm going to tell you today about the Novus Programme and the opportunities that you can gain through the programme. So, when people think of logistics, they tend to think of this. So, massive lorries, warehouses, the movement of freight, containers. And yes, that is logistics. But this is also logistics. We live in a very dark world at the moment, but you can make the world a better place through humanitarian aid. So you could make sure that the food or medical supplies gets to the right place at the right time. We've got advances in AI, so you can see robots in one of these pictures. And last year I went to an Amazon warehouse with a few of our Nova students, and we actually saw in real life these robots going around a warehouse and picking up a stack of shelves and bringing those to an operative, so a worker that would then take out what they needed to from those shelves, put it in a box, and the size of the box was dictated by AI and robots to make sure it was the right size and to make sure it's sustainable. And all that good stuff. So that's already happening at the moment. We've all heard of Teslas and automotive vehicles, but what a lot of people don't realize is that actually we've already got automotive lorries as well. So they're in the testing stage, they're not quite on the roads just yet, but they already exist. We've got advances in drone technology already going on. If you live in Milton Keynes, you might have seen some of the robots that deliver fast food around the streets. So fantastic advances in technology, which makes it a really exciting time to join the industry. So, what is the Novus Programme? Well, the Novus Programme is a charity, and it's a charity that's been created to help the employability of undergraduate students and to connect proactive and engaged undergraduate students with the Novus sponsors so that we can fill skills gaps within industry. So, what type of work experience it might be, we want to be able to share those opportunities with you so you can secure them. So, why is it our mission? Well, the Novus Programme wants to help you bridge the gap between what you are learning within classrooms. Because learning theory within classrooms is all very well and good, but actually, it's not until you're actually doing it in real life, in industry, that you can connect the dots between what you have learned and the impact of your actions of doing what you have learned within industry. So, what do we offer to our Novus students? Well, through the Novus Programme and through our sponsors, you can get access to summer year-long graduate, direct entry, and even part-time work. There is professional mentoring. So, if you're successful in joining the programme, then you can sign up for a professional mentor. So, the mentors are from within our sponsor organisations, and they're people that want to share their areas of expertise with you and share their experience with you. You can also opt in for a peer mentor. So if you've got first and second year students, I would then match those students to a student that is out on placement in their final year of university or their first year of graduation, so that they can tell you all about their own experience of what it was like to go to university. I will try and link it up so that you go to the same university and potentially even doing the same course, so that you have that in common to talk about your expectations and personal journeys. Nova students can benefit from guest lectures, but you can also benefit from site tours. So, as I mentioned, last year I went to an Amazon warehouse, and that was through the UK Warehouse Association, who offered us 7 site tours throughout the year last year. So, we went to Amazon, as I mentioned, we went to John Lewis, we went to Britvic Wincanton. So, they do a lot of drinks like J2O and things like that. This year we've got Muller, they're offering multiple site tours throughout the UK. Howdens are also offering site tours. So we've got lots of opportunities for students to see some real life factories or sites so you can understand how these things really work. We've got the opportunity to provide you with CV reviews, application checks, and mock interviews, and that is because essentially through the Novus Programme, you get yourself your own careers consultant in myself. So I will try and make you as employable as I can make you. We've got the Novus Careers Fairs. They take place online, and they're the opportunity to really talk to sponsors that we've got and learn from the students that they've already got on placement with them, to find out firsthand from them what their experience has been like. We've got CILT events, so you can see in a few of these pictures. I took about 14 students to a CILT event, which was at Birmingham Airport, to hear about Birmingham Airport's aviation strategy. and how they were going to try and optimize the airport to make money from freight and logistics. So rather than just making money from passenger transport, what they can do elsewhere to generate income. I took about 6 students to our CILT Next Generation conference, and that was a great opportunity to hear from organisations like GXO, Amazon, DHL, and find out what they're doing to get young people into industry and how they are planning on retaining those young people. We've also got our annual CILT lunch that takes place in December. So I took about 5 or 6 students to that. And again, we went to hear about what the industry, what's new, what's going on in the industry. But these are basically all great opportunities for students to build their network. So you gain knowledge and you understand what the industry is about and the things that happen in it and why. But you're also building your network so you can add to your connections on LinkedIn. And as I say, sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. Novus really wants you to help expand that network. So I'm currently working with 12 Novus sponsors. So we've got Arla, which hopefully you have heard of. Arla are based in Leeds and offer 3 exclusive placements per year. We have Food Service Logistics based in Coventry and Hemel Hempstead. They are also offering 2 Novus exclusive placements this year, and we have Muller that are offering 2 Novus exclusive placements in Manchester this year. So exclusive roles are fantastic because they are only for Novus students. So instead of competing with hundreds of UK students, you are only competing with your fellow Novus students, of which you may be competing with maybe 20 of them compared to hundreds if it wasn't an exclusive role. Now, I'm hoping that you recognise a few of the brands on this slide, but if you don't, then I'm guessing you will recognise these brands. So we have Ferrari. They do a lot of their logistics through Seaver Logistics. We've got Costa Coffee, do a lot of their logistics through Kuna and Nagel, also known as K&N. Food Service Logistics that I mentioned that are offering 2 exclusive roles this year. They do the logistics for Starbucks. And Martin Brower does all of the UK and Ireland logistics for McDonald's. So I've shown you who our sponsors are, but I've got a lovely video here created by Arla just to tell you a bit more about their organisation and the students that are currently on placement there and the graduates that are still working for Arla.
I'm responsible for 100 people. We collect up to 10 million litres of milk per week and cover around 110,000 kilometres a week in our patch.
I look after Aldi Milk and Cream. It's our biggest volume customer. Very commercial sales, but that is the real beauty of Arla because it's allowed me to grow and develop in all these different areas of the business.
I mean, to start off with, coming into a completely new company, I didn't really know what to expect. Immediately I was welcomed, and I think that was something that really struck out to me straight away, just how this is a place that really nurtures its talent, and that is really demonstrated by the retention rate for Novus students as well.
Novus scheme definitely put me in a good stead. The spectrum of what you can get involved with is amazing.
Logistics and supply chain management wasn't an area that I was overly aware of, but it was very clear to me that it was an area that had opportunity. I genuinely do believe Novus sets you apart from other business graduates. It gives you a set of skills that are in really high demand. Novus gave me the skills, Arla gave me the opportunity.
As an opportunity with a Novus student in Arla Foods is the fact you have got the full supply chain from farm to fridge. Novus doesn't mean that you stay just in logistics, you can, but if you have different aspirations and ambitions, you can move elsewhere as well.
Dynamic, I think that's the main word I would use to describe my time as a placement student at Arla. I've always been given real tangible projects to work on to help our UK business, but also our global business as well.
We've got a very experienced team, so when a Novus student comes and joins us, they're assigned a manager, and that ensures that they get a good experience.
The first thing they asked us to do is create a development plan, which may seem a little bit scary, but all it is really is what makes you happy, what will drive you to come to work.
I can't thank my direct line managers enough for supporting me throughout my career journey, and I think everyone who's been on the Novus schemes had that similar support as well.
You're coming to an organisation that really nurtures you, takes care of you and promotes your growth, which I think is a massive, massive aspect.
We are here because we are owned by farmers, and that's who I work for and that's who I come to work for. So that gives you a different outlook and a different purpose.
I think that Arla do the right things. We're a farmer-owned company, so everything we do has got the farmer's best interests at heart, which is kind of something that I probably value myself.
Through and through, to this day, 8 years in, I love Arla, and I'm passionate about Arla.
Having been in this company for 27 years, I would strongly recommend Arla also, so come and join us.
So as Richard mentioned within that video, the roles aren't just logistics. So I have logistics and operations roles, and that's absolutely fine. But actually, if you want to do finance, you want to do IT, you want to do sales, you can do that as well. So with our Novus sponsors, they are all large organizations and will have different departments for HR and IT and things like that. So you can get access to different roles as well as logistics roles. So what's the process? Well, I pitch to first and second year students. If you're interested, you drop me an email. My email address is zara.nash@cilt.uk. Sorry, ciltuk.org.uk. You complete a brief registration form. You're invited to an online assessment centre, and they take place every Wednesday throughout October and November. They're approximately 2 hours in either the AM or the PM, so it's not a massive amount of time. You submit a CV so that the assessors have got an idea of your background. The assessment centre is made up of a presentation, competency-based interview and group exercise. And the assessment centres have been created by our Novus sponsors so that they reflect the types of assessment centres that you will get with it, like for an actual role. So it's quite nice because I'm guessing you have never done an assessment centre, and that's absolutely fine. But whereas Novus is a nice practice, and it's a nice practice in a familiar environment. So hopefully you will have already seen my face. You've definitely seen my face if you're watching this presentation, but you will see me on the assessment centre. The assessors all come from our sponsor organisations, and they're all super friendly. So it's a really nice experience. Rather than assessment centres for a job, the assessment centre for Novus isn't competitive in that way, because Novus is all about quality rather than quantity. So if I have 6 students and they are all amazing, then you can all get a place on the programme. If you pass or you fail, you're all given feedback. So no matter the outcome, you are given feedback on what you did well, what you could learn to do different next time in order to improve. First year students can reapply in their second year if they weren't successful in their first year. And you must achieve 60% or more in each year of university. So I would be looking for students that have achieved a 2-1 or on track to achieve a 2-1. You must successfully complete a placement year, and it doesn't have to be with a Novus sponsor. In an ideal world, it would be with a Novus sponsor, but if you want to go and do it elsewhere, then that is also absolutely fine. I have created a YouTube video to help you understand what to expect from the assessment centre, so I suggest you watch that before you take part in the assessment centre. So why I do this job is because many, many years ago, I went to Aston University and my degree included a placement year. I secured a job. I was offered a job at Microsoft in Reading, and other than living in Ireland and Birmingham, I had never lived apart from my parents, and it was really daunting, but the opportunity was too good to miss. So I did it. I moved to Reading, an hour and a half away from Birmingham, and I was there for a year. And it was fantastic. I made lifelong friends. I learned a sense of responsibility, how to deal with housemates, how to deal with houses, bills, deposits, loads of that stuff, savings. But it was a fantastic opportunity, and that's why really I do this job. Because if you are sitting here, or sitting there, listening to this presentation, and you weren't planning on doing a year-long placement, please reconsider, because it can change the complete path of your future career, and it can open so many doors for you. When you come back in final year, you will be a different person. Your level of maturity will have completely changed from the person that you were at the beginning of your placement to the person you were at the end of your placement. You will have developed time management, prioritization, practical employability, communication skills. So loads of skills that will help you secure a graduate role. Now, if you're not thinking about doing a year-long placement, please take into consideration that at the point when you graduate and you're against thousands of students for roles, the students that have done a year-long placement will have far more to talk about in their interviews and will probably be far more impressive and then far more likely to get the jobs over students that haven't done a year-long placement. So it is a good return on investment in terms of your future career. When you have done a year-long placement, it helps you in terms of filling out job applications, interviews. When you're asked a question about, tell me about a time where you have been in a team and you had to do something to achieve a shared goal, something like that. If you've worked on placement, you'll have multiple scenarios that you can talk about and multiple examples. If you haven't, and you've just been at university, you are probably going to talk about your university teamwork, which is absolutely fine, but just bear in mind that loads of other students are going to be doing that. So what's going to set your answer apart? And a year-long placement will help you do that. Year-long placements with Novus can help provide part-time work for students throughout their final year and also provide opportunities for fast tracks onto graduate programmes. So we've got a few examples here. So we've got Timmy from the University of Huddersfield. So he studied logistics and supply chain management and graduated in 2024. Timmy did a summer placement with K&N, a year-long placement with Arla, and a graduate programme with Martin Brower, all Novus sponsors. And that's perfect. That's ideal. That's what we want to see. We want to see students really taking advantage of all of the Novus opportunities. So Timmy thought that the Novus programme had significantly contributed to his personal and professional growth. He really liked the professional mentoring because he felt like that his mentor was really invested in Timmy. He liked the exclusive roles and regular updates because he knew in final year he could put his head down, focus on the grades he needed to get, because he knew each week he'd be getting an email from me saying, these are the companies, these are the roles, this is the salary, this is the location, this is the link to apply, and this is the deadline. So get applying. So he didn't have to scour the internet because he knew he'd be getting an email from me each week. This is an example of our Novus professional mentoring. So we've got James from the University of Lincoln. When he passed his assessment centre, joined Novus, he opted in to have a professional mentor. So I'm actually with Ben Quinlan. Ben arranged a tour for James around Heathrow. And Ben doesn't even work in Heathrow, but he managed to pull some strings to get that tour in place, which was amazing. Ben also invited James and another Novus student from the University of Lincoln to two prisons where they have DHL contracts looking at their tuck shops. This is an example of our peer mentoring. So we've got Isabella and Monsi. Isabella and Monsi both studied at Aston University and both studied logistics and supply chain management. When Isabella on the left had just joined university, then she joined the Novus programme and it was all really new to her, opted in for a peer mentor, and it meant that she was able to talk to Monsi throughout the year because Monsi was then out on placement with GE, General Electric. But because Monsi had gone to the same university to do the same degree, she could talk about her experiences and really help Isabella settle in and set the expectations that she needed for going through university and securing a year-long placement. So I've got an example here from Jose from the University of Derby studying business management. And in the summer of 2025, he completed his placement with Kingfisher.
Hello, my name is Jose Malanga. I'm studying business management at the University of Derby, and I'm currently on a summer internship at Kingfisher PLC. When I first joined Novus, I didn't think that I'd be moving to Southampton in the summer to work for one of the biggest retailers in the world. The turning point for me was the careers fair. Hearing from so many companies genuinely interested in giving students key roles and opportunities in international and national businesses really gave me a sense of hope and possibility. So far, the Novus programme have opened the door that fell out of reach a year ago. Zara has been incredible, always offering useful insights, extra opportunities, and support where needed. I chose Kingfisher because once again they showed a genuine interest in working with students, something that is embedded across the business. A few weeks ago we had a company-wide live stream where senior leaders once again reiterated the importance of giving young people opportunities and the lengths that the company is going to make that happen. The recruitment process was straightforward, but it forced me to think about supply chain and logistics in a more practical and personal way. The assessment center wasn't difficult, but it forced me to apply myself in the presentation, interview, and task and individual activities. I am now 10 weeks into my internship, and it has been a privilege working on so many projects across Kingfisher's vast supply chain. One of the most exciting parts about the projects that I have worked on throughout the summer is that I have been able to connect with 3 other Novus students, 2 of which are graduates and working under the end-to-end collaboration team, and another one is a student who was also on a year-long placement. It has been great hearing from their experiences and getting advice on how to make the most out of my placements. The support I have received at Kingfisher so far has been incredible. Contrary to some stereotypes, my team is very supportive, very engaging, and just overall very fun to work with. More importantly, the team feels like a team and not just a group of co-workers doing the same job. The projects I have worked on so far and the different meetings I have attended have shown me how important my business management degree was in laying a solid foundation. From supply chain and financial analysis to entrepreneurial skills to work across different teams in our supply chain. My course has really given me a lot of confidence. To summarize, I wholeheartedly recommend the Novus Programme to any student looking to make the next step in their professional journey. During this past year, I also applied to other internships outside the Novus Programme, and it once again just showed me how important the Novus Programme is. The door that I talked about at the start of the video was very hard to open. Some of the other companies weren't as high profile and they didn't have that same commitment to help students. Novus have made this journey more accessible and a reality, and I am now gaining real-world experience and connecting with key stakeholders in one of the UK's biggest retailers. Hello?
So if you are successful and you join the Novus Programme, there are a few expectations that we have. So we would want you to keep in touch with Novus and your university to let us know if you have secured a year-long placement or graduate scheme. The opportunity is more important than the location. Please bear that in mind if you weren't thinking about moving away from home. If the opportunity is fantastic, then please change your mind. Now, every role will be Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, so you have to have a degree of flexibility. If you're learning to drive, try to pass as soon as you can, as a lot of locations aren't necessarily city centre based with good transport links. Interview expenses might not be paid. If you are struggling to get to an interview, then please speak to your university and myself. And take the help that is offered. So whether that is through university or the Novus Programme, please take the opportunities that we've got for you. So whether I've brought you into the Novus Programme or not, you are always going to need a CV. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of CV advice. So make sure your CV is no longer than 2 pages. Put your name at the top in big font, so the biggest font on the page. For your address, include your postcode. You don't necessarily have to put your house number if you don't want to. Put a personal profile at the top. What it is that you are studying, what do you want to do, and why you think you would be good at it. So if it is for your year-long placement, then talk about your placement opportunities. If it's for a grad scheme, put what kind of grad scheme you want to do. Put your education and experience in reverse chronological order. Don't underestimate the skills, achievements, volunteering, interests, and hobbies section, as these could really make or break it. So it might be that you play golf and the person interviewing you plays golf. It might be that you like traveling and the person interviewing you likes traveling. Now, those are 2 examples that I've had in my career talking to students, and that's what swung it for the person that was interviewing them. Because when you go to work, it's not just all about talking about work. You talk about extracurriculars. You talk about what you do in your home life, what you're interested in reading or watching. So please don't underestimate those sections. References, just put references available upon request if you have space. If you want further information on CVs, then I have created a CV guide on YouTube, which you can have a look at. Professional behaviour, when you're applying, maybe it would be good if you had an email signature. So you can do that through Gmail, and some of your university accounts will help you do that as well. So just your name, what you're studying, and where you are studying it. Use consistent email. I would say use your personal email, because university's emails will time out after you graduate. Make sure it is professional. So maybe your first name, dot or underscore your surname, and then at gmail.com or whatever it may be. Track your progress. Have a spreadsheet. What did you apply for? When did you apply for it? What was the salary? What was the location? What's the deadline? Preparation. So if you haven't heard of STAR technique, that means situation, task, action, and result. And that is the best way of concisely answering interview questions. Fully read every email, plan your journey. If you're going in face to face, then give yourself an extra half an hour to an hour because you don't know about traffic and things like that. If tech tests are offered, I would take them so that you know that your microphone is working, that your camera is working, and so on. Practice. And when I say practice, don't practice with someone that's going to tell you what you want to hear. Practice with someone that's going to tell you what you need to hear, because that is how you are going to evolve and get better. If you're doing an online interview, make sure you've got a tidy background, good Wi-Fi connection, and reduce noise. Even if it means you have to write a note and sellotape it to your door so that everybody knows you are doing an interview, please do that. Face-to-face or online, I would dress smart and always keep your phone on silent. Thank you so much for your time. If you are interested, then please drop me an email at zara.nash@ciltuk.org.uk and do it as soon as possible. The assessment centres are filling up very quickly, so the sooner you get your name down, the sooner you are likely to go through to an assessment centre. To stay up to date, you can follow the Novus Programme on Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to receiving your email of registration. Take care and goodbye.